Okay, there we go. So to start with, if you do have a wall or a door, then if you just make your way to the wall or door and with your back against it, we're just going to start off with an arm raise. So back and head pressed against the wall. I'll just tilt this a bit. So the first one, going for an arm raise or a snow angel against the wall, also called, also known as that. With your back against it, just lifting the arms up above your head and then coming all the way down again. While you're doing this, aiming to keep your lower back as well, as close to the wall as you can, and keeping your head back as well. So just aligning the spine, keeping everything straight. Off you go. Really opening up the chest here as well, as the shoulders are forced to stay back. Good. If you don't have a wall or door, then you can always do this without. Just really keeping your shoulders as close to the wall or as far back as you can. Good. Okay, keep going with this now, thinking about the breathing. So breathing out, coming down here, squeezing the shoulder blades. Deep breath in as you reach. Breathing out as you pull down. One more. Good, okay, and then you can relax there. So you can come away from the wall and then moving into the opposite movement. So now stretching out the back, coming over towards your chair, placing your hands on the chair, and then just walking your legs away from the chair, keeping your legs straight, and then just dropping your chest towards the floor, coming forwards, getting a stretch now into the back. So really lengthening the spine, keeping your arms as straight as you can, opening up the chest, just holding this position. So there's no weight in the upper body at all. I can actually lift my hands off the chair. They're just resting here to help me get that stretch. So you might find your back's a bit higher up, that's fine. Good, and just breathing deeply into this stretch. Okay, and then just standing tall again, just coming back up again. Going now for a stretch for the side of the body, so reaching two hands up above your head, lengthening the spine, deep breath in here, and then just leaning over to the side, getting a pull down the side of the body. Breathing out, just holding this. Keeping your feet grounded, your hips level. And then back to the middle. Deep breath in again here, lengthening the spine, reaching up as high as you can. Then breathing out, going to the other side. Good, just holding here, keeping your arms straight. And then back to the middle. And then just relax the arms by your side, again here. Okay, taking a wide stance, just bringing your feet a little bit further apart for this next one. Toes just slightly pointing out towards the side. Then taking two hands behind your head, we're going to go for a thoracic extension in a squat as well. So coming down, bending your knees, just pushing your hips back very slightly. And then just rotating the elbow, coming down towards the knee. It doesn't need to go too far, but just turning. So feeling that stretch, getting that rotation in the back, also challenging the quads here as well, staying low. Good, just turning as far as you can, always come back to the center, bring the elbows back, and then turn. Go for two more of these. Okay, and then extending the legs, coming back up again. Then taking your hands out to the side, and then same movement, but this time with straight legs, coming down, touching your knees. So again, rotating the back, rotating at the hips, coming up to the middle each time, then going to the other side, so opposite hand to opposite knee. Good, to make sure as you rotate as well, your back staying straight, you're folding from the hips. Don't worry if you can't go too low, then just go above your knees. Okay, and then back to the middle, just relaxing there, bringing your feet closer together again, so about feet hip width apart. And then deep breath in, reaching up above your head. Just holding this position, but just reaching with your hands a little bit further back over your shoulders, so just slightly arching your back. And then sweeping back down again with your arms. And then again, reaching up, lifting your hands up above your head, behind your head, slight arch of the back. And this time diving forward, so pushing your hips back, folding from the hips, just rolling down slowly. And then rolling up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. So your head is the last thing to come up. Bring your shoulders back. Good. Okay. The next one, so if you could just keep a wall, either a wall or a chair in front of you for this next one to just help you with the balance, just waking up the stomach muscles and lengthening the spine again. This is going to be a lean forward. So each time you're leaning forwards, lifting one leg up off the floor and backwards, aiming to reach the chair or the wall in front of you, and then coming back down again. Then same thing on the other leg. So alternating legs each time, reaching as far forward as you can, reaching with your arms, and then pushing your leg as far back as you can. So we'll go for about a minute of these, just nice and slowly. Reach for that chair. Keep the chair close to you if you're wobbling a lot here, but try to reach over it. And as you lean as well, think about drawing the belly button into the spine to just wake up the stomach muscles, take the pressure out of the back. Focusing on something still in front of you as well to help you with the balance. Just keep going with this. Good, last 15 seconds. Okay, and then just relax there, coming back to the middle. Again, we're going to go for a side lunge now for the next one. So with one foot pointing away from you, just start with the other foot pointing towards me, and then just turning and then just sinking down into that lunge, reaching your hands up above your head and then coming back down again. So just bending the front knee very slightly, reaching with your arms, again just slightly arching the back and then down. 2 more of these, so we'll just go for 4 in total. Again, lengthening the spine here. And last one. Good, okay, and then just pivot your feet back to the middle again, and then turn the other foot, so now the other foot is facing away from you. Start with the other one facing towards me, and then just again pivot it, so you're coming slightly onto your toes, and then 4 of these lunges, reaching your arms up above your head. Good, 2 more, just very slight bend of the knee each time. If you're wobbling, then just keep the back foot grounded on the floor. Okay, and then coming back to the middle, so moving on to our seated exercises next. So if you just take your chair and take a seat on your chair. I'm going to start off with our seated cat-camel. So sitting tall on your chair with your hands on your hips. Firstly, arching the spine, bringing your elbows back, opening up the chest, and then rounding the back, bringing the elbows together. So each time, arching elbows back, and then rounding, elbows coming together. Good. So mobilizing the spine here, as much movement as you can in the back. Good, tucking your chin in as well as you round and lifting your chin up towards the ceiling as you arch. Okay, and then just relaxing there, coming back to a neutral position, then crossing one knee over the top of the other knee. We're going to go for a spinal twist. If you've got your right knee crossed over, you're going to be pulling your right knee towards your left shoulder and then looking over your right shoulder. So just a nice twist into the back, looking as far over as you can really pulling the knee close to you with the left arm. Just holding this stretch. And then coming back to the middle and then just releasing that leg, and then same thing on the other side. So now if you've got the left knee crossing it over the top of the right knee, you're pulling the left knee towards your right shoulder and then twisting over your left shoulder. Just holding there. You might feel a little bit of clicking or cracking in the back. And then back to the middle again, releasing the leg, moving into our seated glute stretch. So now crossing the foot over the top of the knee rather than knee to knee. And then sitting as tall as you can, either just holding this position, or if you want to, adding a bit of a lean forwards, leaning as far as you can while keeping your back straight. So feeling this stretch into the glute, releasing any tension there. Good, okay, and then sitting back again, sitting tall, releasing the leg. Then same thing on the other side, so again, foot over the top of the knee. Starting by sitting as tall as you can, imagine someone's pulling you up towards the ceiling. And then gently leaning forwards if you want to just get that extra stretch in the glute, making sure you're folding from the hips. Good, keep holding. Okay, and then just releasing that foot towards the floor again. The last one seated. We're just again going to go for a reach up and a side bend. So reaching as tall as you can, keeping your hips grounded on the chair, and then just leaning over to the side, feeling that pull down the side of the body. Aiming to keep your arms as straight as you can, so really reaching up and over, and then back to the middle. And then same thing on the other side, sitting tall. Good, reaching with the fingertips. And then back to the middle. Good, bringing your arms back down again. And then you can come up off the chair, coming down onto your mat or onto the floor, onto all fours to start with. So I'll just give you a little bit of time to come down. So once you're on all fours, the first one we're going to go for is another thoracic extension. So for this one, you want to take one hand behind your head, and then we're just going to be opening up the chest. So turning your elbow towards the ceiling, and then bringing it towards the wrist or towards the elbow. So just nice and slowly for this, opening up the chest and turning towards the wrist. So lots of rotation in the thoracic spine here. We'll do 30 seconds on each side. Good, last 15 seconds. Taking your time. One more. Good, okay, and then placing that hand back on the floor, and then doing the same thing on the other side. So with the other hand behind the head, each time opening up the chest, and then rotating, bringing the elbow towards the wrist. Good, keep going, last 5 seconds. And last one. Good, okay, and then you can relax there, placing the hands back onto the mat or onto the floor, and then sinking back onto your heels into child's pose, just getting a good stretch, holding this for 30 seconds now. So just relaxing your chest down. You can either relax your forehead on the floor or keep your head up. Just keep breathing here, last 15 seconds. Okay, and then slowly coming forwards, back onto all fours again, moving into our cat camel on all fours. So same as the seated one, arching and rounding the spine. So mobilizing the back, rolling through, aiming to make it a fluid movement. So round, drop your head and your hips, and arch, lifting your head and hips up towards the ceiling, keeping your shoulders relaxed. Good, last 15 seconds of this. Okay, and then relaxing there, sinking back onto your heels into child's pose. This time in this position, just creeping your hands over to one side of the mat or one side of the floor, getting a stretch down one side, just holding this position for 15 seconds, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So just hands are over to one side, so if your hands are over to the left, you'll feel more of a stretch down the right. Okay, and then coming back to the middle, and then same thing on the other side, creeping your hands to the other side, and then feeling the pull down the side, the opposite side. Good, okay, and then back to the middle, coming back up onto all fours again, and then just taking your time coming over onto your back. So onto your back with your feet flat on the floor, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to start by going into just a pelvic tilt, where you're just pushing your lower back into the floor and then releasing. So just a really small movement here, arms relaxed by your side, just pushing your back into the floor and then releasing. So nice and slowly. And aiming to relax your feet while you do this, relax the legs, so you're controlling this movement through the back and through the stomach muscles rather than the legs. Good. Okay, and then just keep going with this movement, but now moving it into the bridge. So each time you do it, lifting your hips up off the floor, squeezing your glutes at the top, and then just releasing them, rolling down one vertebrae at a time back to the floor. So again, at the start of each of the bridges, start off with that hip rotation, so pushing your lower back into the floor, that pelvic tilt, and then slowly down. Last 10 seconds of these. Two, one, and relax there. Okay, lying flat on the floor in the same position, but bring your hands out towards the side, and then feet close together, moving into a spinal rotation. So just rocking your knees side to side, getting a stretch in the lower back now. And as you do this, that extra stretch, just look over your opposite shoulder. So while your knees drop to the left, look over the right shoulder. And while they drop to the right, look over to the left. Good, just nice slow movement here. Okay, and then coming back to the middle, this time just dropping your knees towards the right side, moving into the thoracic spine, so just holding them on the right side to start with. And then the left arm is just going to come over, reach towards the right arm, and then open up. So just opening and closing of the book here, or like crocodile arms with your knees over to one side. So now moving further up the back into the thoracic spine. Just keep going with this. We'll do 30 seconds on each side, aiming to keep the knees close to the floor. Opening up your chest each time. Keep that right shoulder grounded on the floor. Last 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you bring your arm out to the side again and then rocking your knees back towards the middle, and then doing the same thing on the other side. So this time rocking your knees towards the left shoulder staying grounded, and now the right arm is just opening and closing. So opening up the chest on the right side each time. Good, just nice and slowly. Last 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to the middle with your knees, bring your arms back out to the side, and then slowly making your way back onto all fours again, onto your front. So just going into an abdominal exercise for the next one, but still focusing on lengthening the back. So back onto all fours. Next one is going to be the bird dog. So this is just opposite arm extending as far away as you can. So you're lengthening the back here, and then coming back to the center. Every time you extend, really focus on keeping the core, so the back and stomach, as still as you can. Stomach muscles braced and engaged. 45 seconds of these. Good, and focusing on something in front of you as well to help you with the balance for this. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, then making your way all the way down onto your front. So you're coming onto your front on the floor with your hands just slightly above your shoulders or in line with your head. For this one, going into a back extension with your fingers pressed down into the floor, and then just lifting your back up off the floor and slowly coming back down. When you're doing this, try to relax your glutes so they're not doing the work. The work is coming from the back, just lifting up and down. Just nice and slowly, you don't need to move too far. Try to keep your chin tucked in as well so your head is staying back. Good, so using your back strength and pushing your fingertips down into the floor to support you. If you feel that your glutes are squeezing, then don't come quite so far up. So just as far as you can, using your back to control it. Good, last 10 seconds. Last one. Okay, this time staying in this position, just sliding your forearms in front of you now, keeping your hands flat on the floor with your chest up off the floor, and then aiming to lengthen your neck, keeping your shoulders away from your ears, just holding this position, just holding this cobra position, taking a deep breath in and slowly breathing out. So just getting a stretch into the stomach muscles, really keeping that long neck, and then slowly coming back down towards the floor. Just resting your head for a second. We're going to do this once more. So again, lifting your chest up off the floor, back into that same position. Just sliding your elbows forwards to support you. Keeping your forearms, your elbows and your hands flat on the floor, and then lengthening the neck. Shoulders away from the ears. Deep breath in. And then breathing out slowly. Okay, coming back again, back onto all fours, so just pushing yourself back up again into that all fours position. So back into the bird dog for the next one. So again, lengthening the spine, engaging the stomach muscles, this time adding a crunch in as well. So each time reaching away, and then in the middle, bring your elbow towards the knee, then just rest, and then same thing on the other side. So another 45 seconds of these. So reach, crunch. Good. Aiming to keep your arms and legs straight as you reach away. Back as flat as you can. Last 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back onto all fours, then sinking back onto your heels once more. Back into child's pose, just stretching out the back again. Just holding this position another 30 seconds, relaxing here. Seeing if you can sink slightly closer to the ground this time, so reaching with your hands that tiny bit further forwards, or sinking your hips just slightly closer to your heels. And then coming forwards, back onto all fours again, moving into our hip flexor stretch. So lifting yourself back up off the floor, bringing one foot forwards. You can hold on to something if you want to for the balance. And then either holding on to something or keeping your hands on the thigh that's in front, tilting your pelvis underneath you, feeling that good stretch down the hip flexor and into the thigh as well, keeping your back as straight as you can. Good. Think about squeezing the glute on the leg that's back. Okay, and then just switching sides, so coming back, bringing the other leg forwards now. Going for the same thing on the other side, either releasing your toes backwards or keeping them tucked under if you need help with the balance. And then sitting as tall as you can. Again, tilting that back hip underneath you, bringing the pelvis forwards, dropping your tailbone, and sitting tall, shoulders staying back. Good, okay, and then just tucking your back foot underneath, coming back up off the floor. Just take your time coming up. We're just going to finish off with one last forwards fold. So So once you're up off the floor, just taking a really deep breath in, bring your arms up above your head. And then slightly arching the back, bringing them back behind your shoulders, and then diving forwards with your hands, pushing your hips back, reaching forwards before coming down and then slowly rolling back up. So either reaching for your shins, your feet, your knees, wherever is comfortable, and then coming up one vertebrae at a time, rounding through the back until you come all the way back up again, shoulders coming back. And you can relax there. Well done. Good work, everybody, today.